Once upon a time, in a village surrounded by green hills, there lived a young woman named Leena. She was known far and wide for her beauty. Her skin was flawless, her eyes sparkled like emeralds, and her hair shone like golden threads. Wherever she went, people couldn't help but stare in admiration. But Leena was not just beautiful, she was vain. She cared little for kindness or wisdom. All she wanted was to be admired. Every day, she would sit in front of her mirror for hours, admiring herself, loving the way she looked, and wishing others would love her just as much. One day, as Leena walked through the village market, she overheard two elderly women talking about her. "Have you seen Leena?" one of them asked. "She's so beautiful, but she doesn't seem to care about anyone. All she does is look at herself in the mirror." The other woman nodded. "Yes, it's a shame. She could be such a kind person, but she doesn't seem to value anything except her looks." Leena heard this, and it stung her heart. But instead of feeling guilty, she became angry. "Who cares what they think? They're just jealous," she thought to herself. A few days later, a wise old traveler arrived in the village. He was known for his deep knowledge and understanding of life. The villagers gathered around him, eager to hear his stories and wisdom. Leena, too, was curious about the man. She thought that if anyone could tell her how to become even more beautiful, it was him. With a confident smile, she approached the old traveler. "I've heard that you are wise. Tell me, how can I become the most admired person in this village?" she asked. The traveler looked at her for a long time, his eyes soft but sharp. "True admiration does not come from how you look, but from who you are inside," he said calmly. Leena scoffed. "I don't need anyone's approval. Everyone already admires me because of my beauty." The traveler smiled faintly. "Beauty fades, young one, but a kind heart and a wise mind last forever. If you are only admired for your looks, you will find yourself alone when your beauty begins to fade." Leena didn't understand. She was young, and she felt her beauty would last forever. "Thank you for your advice, but I don't believe it," she said, walking away with a huff. Years passed, and Leena continued to live her life, always seeking more admiration and attention. She remained beautiful, but she remained just as vain, focusing on her appearance rather than developing the qualities that would make her a truly admirable person. The villagers, too, began to grow tired of her constant obsession with herself. They would whisper behind her back, talking about her shallow nature, but Leena never noticed. Then, one day, something unexpected happened. A terrible illness spread across the village. Many people fell ill, and some of the most beautiful and healthy villagers began to suffer. Leena, too, became sick. She was bedridden for weeks, too weak to even look at herself in the mirror. Her beauty, once her greatest asset, no longer mattered. During her time in bed, Leena realized how empty her life had been. She had spent so many years focused on her appearance that she had neglected the people around her. No one visited her except a few kind-hearted villagers who came to offer food and care. They had nothing to gain from her beauty, but they cared for her out of kindness. One of the villagers, an elderly woman who had once spoken about her, came to visit one afternoon. "Leena, you've been through much," she said softly, sitting by her bedside. "But now you see, beauty does not make us who we are. It is our actions, our kindness, and our love for others that truly matter." Leena looked at the woman and nodded. She was ashamed of how she had lived her life, so focused on her looks and superficial admiration. She understood, at last, the wisdom the old traveler had shared with her long ago. When Leena recovered, she decided to change. She started helping the sick, visiting the elderly, and doing whatever she could to make the lives of others better. Slowly, the villagers began to see her in a new light. She was no longer the beautiful woman who only cared about her appearance. She had become someone who truly cared about others, someone whose kindness and generosity earned her admiration. Over time, Leena found that true beauty wasn't about having a perfect face or flawless skin. It was about the way she treated others, the way she made people feel. And while she still had her beauty, it was no longer what defined her. The love and respect she received from the villagers were far more valuable than any compliment about her appearance. Years later, when Leena became an elderly woman, the villagers would often tell stories about how she had changed. They would speak of the beautiful woman who learned that the greatest beauty lies not in the mirror, but in the heart. And so, Leena lived the rest of her life, not as the most beautiful woman in the village, but as one of the wisest, kindest, and most beloved.